Greetings. I am pharmacist Benjamin Knight Fuchs, registered pharmacist, cosmetic chemist, and nutritionist. And this is the show where we talk about our body's favorite organ. This is the show where your skin matters. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about nutrition today. You know, we live in a world where we focus on superficiality. In the world of skincare, we focus on the surface of the skin. Most of our treatments for dry skin, eczema, aging skin, acne, psoriasis, most of the treatments that we use are topical treatments. We put things on top of the skin. But guess what? By the time you see the acne pimple, or by the time you see the eczema, or by the time you see or perceive your skin is dry, it's over. The symptoms of our skin issues, whether they're dry skin or whether they're superficial or minor skin problems like dry skin or aging skin, or major skin problems like psoriasis or eczema, really start off inside the body. And that's why nutrition is so darn important. You can't have beautiful skin unless you're taking care of the inside part of your body. And this is why most people aren't satisfied with their skincare, because we're trying to treat from the outside in. Now, it's true, you can do certain things from the outside in. And in fact, most of the effective skin treatments from the outside in involve nutrition. Topical vitamin C, which we've talked about, topical vitamin A, which we've talked about, topical plant-derived minerals. So you can do certain things from the outside in, and most of those things involve topical nutrition. Nonetheless, the majority of what we see on the skin begins on the inside, and that's why understanding how to take care of the inside first to have beautiful skin is so darn important. And when we talk about the inside first, basically we're talking about nutrition and digestion and food. So today we're going to talk about Chapter 1 in the Handbook of Good Nutrition. If nutrition were a handbook, it would have 8 chapters: protein, fats, carbohydrates, fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, and trace nutrients. We'll talk about all the chapters eventually, but today I want to start off with Chapter 1, which is protein. And for good reason. Most of the body is made up of protein. 70% of the dry weight of the body is protein, and that's true about all the organs, and it's true about the skin. Protein is critical for building things, and that's why it's so important for the skin. But it's also important for immunity. The immune system is based in protein, and many of the skin problems that we have are immune problems. Immunity is defense, and the skin is a defensive organ, so it makes sense that the immune system, which is based in protein, would be relevant for keeping the skin healthy and beautiful. And then protein also plays a role in moisturization of the skin. This is kind of interesting. Most of us don't think of protein when we think of skin moisturization. We think of water, and it's true, moisture is water, but it turns out that it's protein that in large part traps water into the skin. So we're going to talk about the ins and outs of protein and how you can get and take advantage of dietary protein to keep your skin soft and hydrated, to keep it immune healthy, and to keep the structure strong and resilient and youthful. So first of all, protein is the star of the nutrition show. Protein is the leading man. All the other nutrients are supporting actors. Protein is the star. It's the Brad Pitt. It's the Mel Gibson. It's the Chris Hemsworth, or whoever the latest movie star is today. Protein is the leading man of the skin, or the leading woman of the skin. Everything else supports protein. We all heard of DNA and genetics. Well, genetics makes protein. Genetics codes for protein. That's how important protein is. The only thing that genetics really does is it makes protein. The bulk of the body is protein, and the bulk of the skin is protein. Protein quality in terms of foods is measured by something called biological value, or BV. Of course, protein comes in through the diet, and there's various sources of protein. Most of us know what a high protein food is: meat, eggs, fish. These are high protein foods. And then from a vegetarian perspective, legumes, peanuts, soy, nuts are good sources, seeds are good sources of protein, grains are good sources of protein. Nonetheless, animal foods are going to be the best sources of protein from a biological value perspective. Biological value, or BV, means how well a protein is utilized by the body. The BV, biological value scale, goes from 0 to 100. 100 is the most biologically available protein, has the highest biological value. The body can make the best use of a 100 BV protein. And 100, or the gold standard of protein value, is egg protein. And eggs are a phenomenal source of protein, and a phenomenal source of a lot of other nutrients. In fact, eggs are the perfect food. Don't pay any attention to the silliness about cholesterol in eggs. Although if you cook your eggs, you can damage the cholesterol, and that does create somewhat of a problem. But eggs in their raw state are the perfect body food and the perfect skin food. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, eggs are packed with everything we need to be healthy. And secondly, eggs are packed with everything a cell needs to be healthy. The body is made up of cells. It's the cells that do the work. We've all heard the term cells. Cells are the living creatures that combine to form the human body. You have about 100 trillion cells. And what makes eggs so valuable is an egg cell. So when you eat an egg, you're eating a cell. And when you eat a cell, you're getting all the things you need to make a cell. In terms of the skin, eggs contain things like phospholipids, which are important for the skin barrier and moisturization. They contain essential fats, which are important for hormones and for moisturization and skin softness and anti-inflammation and for healing. Eggs contain vitamin A, which is one of the skin's most important vitamins. Eggs contain zinc. They're just a tremendous source of nutrition. But as far as protein goes, the protein content of eggs is tremendously bioavailable. Now, one problem with eggs is we cook our eggs. And when we cook our eggs, we lose a lot of that nutritional value and we damage the fats, including the protein. So you want to try to eat your eggs as close to raw as possible. In fact, eating them raw is probably the best way to do it. And I know people kind of turn their nose up when they think of raw eggs. Raw eggs have a kind of slimy quality to them. That slime, by the way, is protein, and it's important for the immune system, the slime, the mucus-like material. But in any case, eggs have a sort of textural, people have an objection to the texture of eggs. So eat your eggs in a smoothie. Drop it into a protein smoothie, and not only will you increase the protein value of that smoothie, but you'll also be getting all the nutrients, including the protein that's in eggs. Another protein that is stupendously valuable from a BV scale, in fact, this protein is even more biologically available. It has a higher BV than eggs, and that is whey protein. Whey protein comes from dairy. And so if you have a dairy allergy, you may have a problem with whey. Not everybody does, but some people will find that there's some trace lactose in whey, and some folks will have an issue with that, or some people who have severe protein allergy or milk allergies will have problems with whey. But most people can do whey protein. If you can, the biological value of whey is off the charts. It's 104. BV scale goes from 0 to 100. Whey is so bioavailable, it's off the charts. It gets a 104. Whey protein is filled with building proteins as well as moisturizing proteins. Bodybuilders and weightlifters and athletes know good and well that whey protein is the best protein for building muscles. Well, it turns out that whey protein is also a great protein for building the skin as well as for moisturizing the skin. And the immune factors that are in whey also make whey a very valuable skin protein. There is another protein that's found in dairy that is not exactly protein. It's about 15% protein. And that is colostrum. Colostrum is known as first milk. And colostrum is, as the term first milk would imply, it's the first milk that comes out of a mom's mammary glands, whether it's an animal like a cow or even a human, after the baby's born. And colostrum is packed not only with protein and not only with building protein, but very important immune boosting molecules that, number one, support the immune system, and number two, are very important for the digestive tract. It's called colostrum, colostrum, and you can find colostrum wherever you find health food products. Same with whey protein. By the way, whey is not whey protein. Whey protein is part of whey. So if you take milk and divide it into two fractions, a fraction that's watery and a fraction that's gummy and fatty, you get whey and you get casein. Casein is used to make cheese. Whey is, up until very recently, was just thrown out. It was considered a waste product until they discovered in the whey is a concentration of protein, and that's what the whey protein is. Whey protein is contained in whey. So protein, for vegetarians, I should say, if you want to get protein, you're going to be pretty much relegated to grains and legumes. Soy is probably the most protein-rich vegetarian food, but soy has got some problems. In fact, all high-protein foods that are vegetable protein, grains, seeds, soy, and legumes, also contain a problematic protein. And this problematic protein is called lectin, Lectin. And lectin, which is found in these high protein vegetarian type foods, can be responsible for a lot of immune problems, especially immune problems in the skin: acne, rashes, eczema, psoriasis, itching. All of these can be associated with lectins that are found in grains. And I see a lot of folks who are vegetarians, and they think that they're doing well by being vegetarians, but they have skin problems, especially immune problems on the skin like psoriasis or acne. And as soon as we get them off of soy or grains, barley, rye, oat, wheat, these are high lectin grains, and you probably heard the term gluten. Gluten is a lectin-like substance that causes a lot of problems on the skin. As soon as we get these patients off of soy or legumes, nuts and seeds and grains, their skin tends to improve. So if you have skin problems and you're a vegetarian and you're eating a lot of beans, or you're eating a lot of soy, or you're eating a lot of grains, you may want to consider weaning yourself off or completely getting off of grains and seeds and legumes and see what happens to your skin. If you're vegetarian and you want to take advantage of proteins, probably it's going to be tough, but you're going to have to experiment. Remember, everything's going to have a little bit of protein. So even vegetables will have a little bit of protein. But if you're a vegetarian and you're trying to stick with vegetarian proteins and you have skin problems, you're really going to have to experiment with the kind of proteins that you take in, because, as I say, a lot of vegetarian-based proteins can cause skin problems via these lectins. And it's not just skin problems either. It's immune problems in general, especially autoimmune problems. A lot of folks who have rheumatoid arthritis, for example, or autoimmune issues of the pancreas, or autoimmune issues of the skin like lupus or SLE, or lupus, or what's the other one I'm thinking of? Scleroderma. These can also be related to lectins that are found in high protein vegetarian type foods. So proteins are made up of building blocks. These building blocks are called amino acids. And amino acids are, you can think of amino acids like letters, and proteins you can think of as words. Amino acids build up words like letter, or build up protein like letters build up words. And amino acids themselves can have some really interesting healing properties. For example, and by the way, I should tell you, there's about 20 different amino acids, and about 9 of them are said to be essential amino acids. That means you have to get them in the diet. Other amino acids the bodies can make, but the 9 essential amino acids you have to get from the diet. Amino acids individually can have some really interesting skin health benefits. So protein, I should tell you, has really important benefits, as we say, for moisturization, for the immune system, and also for building things, building tissue. But the amino acids themselves can have some interesting skin health benefits. Glycine, for example, really fascinating amino acid that's important for liver detoxification and is a major component of collagen. Proline is an amino acid that's found in collagen. One of my all-time favorite amino acids is called arginine, and arginine is so important for healing that it's actually used for burn victims to help accelerate the healing from burns. But everybody can benefit by supplementing with arginine. Arginine is important for growth hormone. It's also important for heart health and for supporting the health of nitric oxide, which is an important inflammatory and anti-inflammatory molecule. Arginine is also found in a component of the skin called the natural moisture factor. Arginine actually has moisturization properties. And arginine is also a component of a very interesting protein. Actually, it's not exactly a protein. It's a peptide called creatine. Bodybuilders all know about creatine. Well, creatine has really interesting skin benefits for helping build strong skin and for providing sun protection. And also via this molecule arginine, creatine can actually even moisturize the skin. A very interesting amino acid is called histidine, and that is important for building a healthy skin barrier and for moisturizing the skin. Eczema patients would be very wise to supplement with extra histidine. By the way, all these amino acids that we're talking about, glycine and arginine and histidine, in addition to being available as supplements, they're also found in high protein foods. So eating whey and eating eggs. If you're a vegetarian, eating beans and legumes, those can help you get these amino acids. High protein foods are where you get not just protein, but also amino acids. Glutamine is a very important amino acid, and its colleague glutamate for building. Muscle bodybuilders, people who are interested in building muscle, use glutamine and glutamate. Glutamine is very important for the digestive system, and glutamine and glutamate are turned into a really fascinating molecule called PCA. PCA is part of this natural moisturizing complex that's found in the surface of the skin. In fact, PCA is so important for moisturization of the skin that you find it in a lot of skincare products, and I use PCA in a lot of my moisturizing and hydrating topical products. You can make your own PCA by making sure that you're getting glutamine and glutamate either in supplements or by making sure you're getting high protein foods. Taurine is a really interesting amino acid, only found in animal foods. So vegetarians, you're going to need to supplement with taurine because it's not found in vegetarian foods. It's only found in meats. Taurine actually comes from the Latin word for bull, because initially it was found in cows and bulls. Taurine is used to make bile, and taurine is actually a hydrating amino acid for skin cells. I formulate with taurine-based cleansers, taurine surfactants, to take advantage of taurine's hydrating properties for the skin. There are various atoms that are associated with protein. One of the most fascinating atoms that's associated with protein is sulfur. Sulfur has an electrical effect. It's found in collagen and keratin. Keratin is the protein that makes your skin nice and hard. And sulfur proteins, which are basically animal proteins, well, pretty much animal proteins, are important for structuring and organizing water. Turns out that sulfur, the atom sulfur, has an ability to turn ordinary water into what's called structured water. And structured water is a much more hydrating form of water than ordinary water. We'll talk about structured water on another Your Skin Matters episode. The point I want to make for now is sulfur is very important for organizing water, and also sulfur is important for hardening. Collagen and keratin get their hardening properties, a lot of their hardening properties, via this sulfur atom. You'll find sulfur in what I call stinky proteins, like fish protein and egg protein and meat protein and milk protein or dairy protein. Those contain lots of sulfur, and that's why they stink after a while. In fact, they'll actually stink like sulfur. So protein is important for skin cell growth. It's important for skin moisture factors. It's also important for skin enzymes. Enzymes play a very important role in the health of the skin. There's a special class of enzymes that's important for what's called desquamation. Desquamation is skin cells flopping off of the surface of the skin. When skin cells flop off of the surface of the skin, they trigger new skin cells to grow from the bottom towards the top. And this cellular turnover is what assures that the skin barrier will stay strong and healthy. Well, you need to have skin enzymes for doing that. And skin enzymes are largely composed of protein. Another very important protein that's found in the skin are called proteoglycans, or also amino acids, protein amino acids, or actually technically, amino sugars, amino acid sugars. Proteoglycans are protein sugars, and then GAGs are amino sugars. One of the most fascinating amino sugars is something called glucosamine. And I know you've heard of glucosamine because it's been popular now for 20 or 30 years as an anti-arthritis supplement. Well, it turns out that glucosamine, which is an example of a GAG, that stands for glycosaminoglycan, is actually really important for helping build the skin. And here's a little trick for you. If you want to have healthy skin and you want to use supplements to do it, use arthritis supplements. The same supplement, the same nutrients that help build joint tissue if you have arthritis will also build connective tissue in the skin. So go get yourself anything that's good for arthritis, and that includes glucosamine or collagen or hyaluronic acid. All of these kinds of supplements that are important for arthritis sufferers will also help you if you are getting wrinkles or you're getting aging skin, because the same mechanism that builds joints will also build connective tissue in the dermis to help slow down or even reverse wrinkle formation. And the same is true about wound healing. Healing wounds, healing burns or cuts or various surgical traumas is largely a function of building connective tissue. And that's the same kind of mechanism, building connective tissue that is, that's important for keeping your joints healthy if you have arthritis. So use arthritis supplements as a handy dandy trick for keeping your skin youthful, wrinkle-free, and also for helping heal wounds if you were to get some kind of skin trauma. So protein is important for growth, it's important for maintenance, it's important for repair, it's important for the structure of the skin, it's important for enzymes. It also helps hold on to water. So if you have dry skin, protein is very important. It's important for the immune system. We know that the skin is an immune organ. Eating more protein Eating quality protein, high BV protein is also important for skin immunity. Protein plays a major role in detoxification. Digestion of protein is something that you really want to pay attention to because digesting protein can be a little bit tricky. In order for protein to be digested, you have to be secreting acid in the stomach, and you also have to have activated digestive enzymes. Technically, digestive enzymes that break up protein are called proteases. And digestive enzymes, proteases in the digestive system depend on acid. A lot of folks think, oh, I'm making too much acid, I need to have an antacid. And antacids are actually one of the best-selling over-the-counter drugs. And it turns out that most people or more people are making too little stomach acid than are making too much stomach acid. So if you are taking in protein foods, you're eating protein foods, and you find yourself gassy or bloated, odds are good that you're not digesting your protein. So take digestive enzymes with your protein, specifically proteases, or you can eat papaya, kiwi, pineapple, which contain digestive enzymes with your meat or with your fish or with your eggs to help you digest your protein. Using apple cider vinegar with your meals can act like a source of acid to activate proteins, likewise stomach bitters. Be careful about burning your protein. Burning protein will turn protein into toxic, even carcinogenic compounds called HCAs, or heterocyclic amines. So a lot of people like to have their grilled meat charred. That charring can be carcinogenic, and you want to be very careful about burning or charring your protein. Here's something that's really interesting that a lot of folks don't realize. Protein actually gets turned into sugar in a process called gluconeogenesis. So if you're trying to lose weight by eating more protein, you gotta be a little bit careful because that protein can get turned into sugar, which will get turned into fat. On the positive side, because protein can get turned into sugar, protein can actually be used as a source of energy. So if you're trying to wean yourself off of sugar, if you're diabetic or you're eating lots of sugar, eating protein can give your body a way to get slow, sustained release energy and may help you wean yourself off of sugar if you're one of those sugar addicts. Now, here's something else that's cool. There's an amino acid, which we just talked about in terms of the skin for moisturizing the skin and also for bodybuilders for building muscle, called glutamine. And glutamine is actually one of the best amino acids you could ever use if you're trying to wean yourself off of sugar. In fact, taking a teaspoonful of glutamine powder every day can go a long way towards helping cut into sugar cravings. A lot of folks find when they start to use glutamine on a regular basis, not only does their skin improve, not only do they have better muscles, and also I should tell you, glutamine is important for detoxification, but they also find that they crave sugar less. So protein is found in various, most people know what high protein foods are: meat, seafood, eggs, dairy, beans, legumes. But you got to be careful with the source of proteins that you're using if you are a vegetarian and you have skin problems. If you're a vegetarian and you want to stay away from animal foods, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but you can do it. You just have to be very careful. And if you have skin problems, it's going to be especially difficult to get enough protein. So best to experiment with different sources of protein. If you're going to supplement with amino acids, taurine, arginine, glycine, histidine, and a group of amino acids, 3 amino acids that are called the branched chain amino acids, are very, very important for building skin. You can also supplement with peptides, which are strings of amino acids, and the most famous of the peptides are collagen peptides, and collagen peptides can go a long way towards helping you build your collagen. And also collagen peptides have antioxidant properties, and they also have skin hydrating effects. A couple little hacks that you can use if you're interested in protein hacks and tricks that you can use to get protein. One of the best is use gelatin, which is a connective tissue protein, basically collagen. Gelatin has been used as a kind of old wives' tale, or has been treated as an old wives' tale for having healthy, beautiful skin, and it's true, and nails. And it's true that skin and nails can get healthy and beautiful by using gelatin regularly, largely because gelatin is collagen. You can get collagen peptides in a health food store. Always make sure that you're using vitamin C with your collagen and your collagen peptides, or your glucosamine and high hyaluronic acid, and these building blocks of protein that we talked about, or building blocks of collagen that we talked about earlier. Eat protein for breakfast. Stay away from the toast. Just have fish for breakfast, sushi for breakfast, shrimp for breakfast. steak for breakfast, and lay off of the carbohydrates, and you'll find that your body will be able to use the protein for sustained release energy throughout the day, and you won't get that sugar crash that a lot of folks get around 11 o'clock if they eat toast or bagels or cereal for breakfast. So if you just eat protein for breakfast, you'll find that you have more sustained energy, and of course, it's a great way to get. If you eat protein for breakfast, it's a great way to give your body building nutrients first thing in the morning. Glutamine, as I said, is very important for sugar cravings. Increasing protein intake is important when we're frail, when we're post-surgery, when we're pregnant, or for wound healing. Protein dissolving enzymes, we talked about proteases earlier for the digestive system. Well, it turns out that protein dissolving enzymes, proteases, also have pain healing properties and anti-inflammatory properties, and also blood thinning properties. Post-surgery, using protein dissolving enzymes from papaya and pineapple can help accelerate healing. Or if you have some kind of bruising, or you have some kind of wound, bruising, we'll say, using protein dissolving enzymes can speed healing from bruising. Small amount of protein before you go to bed will help you sleep, will help you stay asleep. A lot of times when people wake up in the morning or wake up in the middle of the night and they can't go back to sleep, a lot of that has to do with something called low blood sugar or hypoglycemia. Eating a small amount of protein, maybe a teaspoonful of whey protein powder or an egg or half an egg before you go to bed, can help prevent that sugar crash that happens in the middle of the night, that hypoglycemia that happens in the middle of the night, that sometimes causes people to jump out of bed or stand up or sit up out of bed and not be able to fall back asleep. So using a small amount of protein before you go to sleep can prevent that middle of the night hypoglycemia that can cause problems with cause people to wake up and have problems falling back asleep. My favorite way to get protein in terms of foods, to get dietary protein, is to drink it. And you can drink it by drinking bone broth or chicken soup. And chicken soup not only is a great way to get very easy to process protein because it's already essentially pre-digested, but you also get things like hyaluronic acid and collagen peptides and lots of building material, bodybuilding material in chicken soup and bone broth. And because it's liquid, it's easy for the body to process and digest. And then also, if you want to have an easy way to get protein into your system in the middle of the day or first thing in the morning, use smoothies. Again, because the protein, like in soups, was pre-digested essentially, and you're actually drinking your protein. Whey protein makes a great smoothie. Colostrum makes a great smoothie. These days, you can get something called bone broth protein that makes a great smoothie. I always crack an egg in my smoothie to up the protein value. If you're vegetarian, you could use Brazil nut protein or pea protein. Both Brazil nut protein and soy protein, of course. Both Brazil nut protein and pea protein and soy protein are vegetarian friendly, but you gotta be a little bit careful because of the lectins that are found in legumes. Peas being a legume, nuts being a legume, Brazil nuts being a legume, and soy being a legume. So you gotta be a little bit careful. So there's tons of stuff to know about protein. Remember, most of your body is made up of protein. Some 70% or so of the dry weight of your body is protein. That's true about the whole body, and it's true about the skin specifically. Protein's a little hard for the body to digest, so if you can pre-digest it by using your protein in smoothies or soups, or if you can use digestive enzymes with whole protein foods like fish and beef, that can be helpful. If you're a vegetarian, it's going to be a little bit tricky. You can still do it. But remember that vegetarian-based proteins can have lectins in them. So if you have skin problems and you're a vegetarian, you're going to have to do a lot of experimenting to find a protein that doesn't cause breakouts or cause rashes or cause itchiness. Amino acids can be used supplementally and therapeutically. And then let's see if there's anything else I want to tell you. I think that covers it. One last thing, the body, skin aficionados' favorite protein is collagen. Best way to get your collagen is to eat collagen peptides, use bone broth and chicken soup, which contain collagen and collagen peptides, and then always use vitamin C with your collagen building proteins because you can't make collagen without vitamin C. And that's our protein talk. We'll talk about the rest of the chapters in the Handbook of Good Nutrition on future Skin Matters episodes. I am pharmacist Benjamin Knight Fuchs. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and subscribe to Facebook. We'll be doing these Skin Matters YouTubes on a regular basis, and appreciate you guys very much. Thanks so much for listening, and remember, your skin matters.